Hello, hello, hello again, ladies and gentlemen. This is Kanice with Solar Vision. Today's topic is Sigil Magic. I'm trying to do something a little different this time. Let me know how you guys, if you guys like it or not. But anyway, again, today's discussion is about Sigil Magic. Sigil Magic is when you use your personal creativity to design a symbol, logo, or sign, and you utilize that symbol, aka sigil, to change, manipulate, or bend a circumstance to conform to your will. That symbol that you design will represent a desire, goal, or something that you want to manifest in your life. You create the sigil or symbol or logo with a particular idea in mind, and you focus all your mental energy into it until you bury it deeply into your subconscious mind, until you feel that you have pretty much mentally exhausted all your energy into it. Then the subconscious mind turns that thought form into a reality. What I'm going to show you is one way to make sigils utilizing what I like to call meditative trance and fire. I will be discussing other methods to make and activate sigils at a later date. So what do you need? Number one thing is you need your creative imagination, your creative mind. Number two, you need blank paper. I like to use parchment paper, but if you don't have parchment paper, you can use any type of paper as long as it's blank. Preferably not toilet paper. But anyway, pencil or pen. You would need some matches or something to ignite a fire with, a cigarette lighter, barbecue lighter, or grill lighter, whatever you have. But anyway, let's get to it. In today's world, we see a lot of sigils and examples of it on a daily basis. Such as, like for instance, you have, let's see, the Dodge Ram logo on the back of the car, right? And it represents a symbol or sigil for the deity Amun-Ra or Baphomet. Okay, an example of, let's say, the Chrysler, the new logo for the Chrysler cars, the newer logo, let's say that, represents the female goddess deity Mayat. Sometimes you see Isis that way too. And you can also see, let's see, the symbol, it's the symbol for, it's ancient, well, I can't really say ancient because it doesn't predate Egypt or anything like that, but the winged Zoroastrian symbol. I forgot the name of it. You can look it up and find it yourself. Or, for example, when you go to the hospital, you see an ambulance, you see a medic or anything like that, you'll see the all-famous medical symbol that everybody's familiar with that represents the staff of Tahuti, a.k.a. the deity of Thoth, which is the deity of wisdom, medicine, and a whole plethora of other things. This is one of the reasons why corporations are so successful, because they plant these sigils or symbols in our subconscious, and we see it every day, and we don't know why we like for instance, the shoes Nike, that's a name of an ancient god. The company eBay, these are names, but I'm just trying to give you an example, is the name of a god as well. But these are common practices that we see here or utilize every day. The ones you see are forms of sigils. You can look at, let's say, with Christianity, for example, the cross is a sigil. The Ankh in Egypt would be like a form of a sigil. You can look at the voodoo, what people like to call voodoo, deities like Baron Samedi, Alegba, Ishu, and other deities, and you'll see they have sigils that represent them. And when you invoke those sigils, you can, invoke the utilization of the powers that they represent, which is no more than coming from your own higher self or your own soul. But anyway, let's move on. Now, I had mentioned a few minutes ago about meditative trance. This is when you have your mind calm, okay, and free of chatter. And what I mean is free of chatter. How sometimes you get down and you try to meditate and you got all this stuff going on in your head. Maybe you're thinking about something that happened at work earlier during the day, something going on with your family, something going on with your life, but you can't really free your mind. You're going to have to put all that stuff out of your mind and quiet and calm your mind, okay? Your mind will go into a realm of complete nothingness when you have it completely numb, okay? And what I mean by numb, I mean calm, basically, nothing, like it's basically opening up your head and pouring everything out, but in a meditation type state, okay? Your mind will go from the mundane, normal state to what I like to call the alpha state, or beta to alpha state, as some would say. Once you have emptied your mind and allowed your brain waves to go into that alpha state, you will then allow your mind to totally focus on the object. In this case, it will be the sigil that you create, illustrate, or draw. And you will completely focus on that sigil, aka symbol, until you fully exhaust your mental energy into it. I also mentioned the fire element. Fire is known in magic to bring back faster results. Fire also represents your soul and your connection with Source. For example, the Bible says that the angels are composed of fire. It even mentions that in the Bible narrative, Yahweh is a consuming fire. In fact, the sun that we see every day is a fire and is known as an oversoul. Fire is the strongest out of all four elements because it can destroy all matter and still cause no harm upon itself. And when I'm saying it is the strongest, I'm talking about from a etheric perspective, okay? In fact, because I understand the Hebrew language, I sometimes will transliterate my English desire or will into Hebrew to create my sigils. Hebrew is known also as the fire language in Gnostic and mystical so-called Judaism. Some people like to say Kabbalic wisdom, however you want to say it. For example, when the logos, aka sigil, was spoken or uttered by the deity Yahweh or an angel in their lore, the spoken language had manifested itself into the physical. Remember that the burning bush in the story with Moses and the angel, aka fire, spirit, soul form that was in the bush talking to Moses, or yet the angel communicating with Moses on top of Mount Sinai while he was, according to the narrative, receiving the so-called Ten Commandments. Remember, Mount Sinai being totally engulfed in fire and smoke representing the angel that was orating to him. And just like the bush, it was, according to the narrative, Moses, walked up to the bush was burning as the angel was inside of the bush, but the bush did not burn up. But notice there was a fire. That angel represented that fire, and it also represents your soul. Okay? You have Christians that say, oh, you don't want to go to hell, you gonna burn up and stuff. Well, you want to burn because the solar fire, represents the soul. That's the inner sun that's in the body. So, with that nonsense. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is show you first in the English form that I use. Then I'm going to show you a quick example of how I transliterate it to use it in the Hebrew form. But basically, you'll see. Anyway, the key is basically being creative, okay? I also like invoking or writing the name of the energies that I would like to utilize on my statement of intent or will. It is not a requirement. I'm just showing you my example, or one of my examples on how I use it, because I use it several different ways, but it's just an example to give you so you can create your own. Again, you got to be creative in your own way and put your energy into it for it to manifest, okay? Also, make sure that it is something within your own will or desire. By that I mean do not use it to make someone else or something do something that is harmful or contrary to their own will. Okay? Also, I personally use it for things that I need, meaning a necessity, not just things that I want. But, that's up to you and that's at your discretion. So let's get started. All right, this is an example of basically, as an example, my intent, my statement of purpose for this particular ritual that we're about to go through. And this is an example for you. So hopefully you can follow this along, and we'll go through it. And hopefully it makes sense to you. I'm trying to basically, I wrote this out earlier when I had a little bit time to sit down and do some things. And I just thought about it. And hopefully this will make sense to you. So anyway, this is my statement of purpose. So what you want to do is whatever you have in mind that you want to manifest, you need to have a statement of purpose. As I said, in mine, what I usually do is I invoke a deity on top. I don't do it all the time, but I do like doing that. You don't have to do it. It's up to you completely. In this case, I'm using Amen, okay, and Thoth. Amen is known as Source and the Hidden One. Thoth is known as the deity of wisdom, medicine, and so many other things. He's also known by the name Tahuti and Hermes Trismegistus as well. Okay, so you need to write your purpose. So you can start it off by using my intent is, or my will is, or my purpose of this is. It's up to you, okay? On this one, I made my statement say, my intent is to attain higher levels of cosmic consciousness. So you write that out, right? Okay, next. What you want to do is, on that statement that you put, you want to go through that statement and cancel out all regular vowels. And what I mean by regular, how we say A-E-I-O-U and sometimes Y. I use Y because in the ancient days the Y was used, and in the Hebrew font, you got the yod, okay, so a yud as we say. So I keep that. So I usually just go by A-E-I-O-U, okay? So as you see on the screen here, let's see if I can find my cursor, okay? You have the A, the E, the O, the I, and let's see, a U right there. But anyway, you see all the so-called vowels have been canceled out. Okay, next. What you want to do is go through each consonant, a regular letter, and you want to list that particular letter separate, which you see me do right here. That's what I did right there, okay? You want to list it separate, okay? And you want to cross out all multiples of that one particular letter. So you see here, I got an M right there, M right there. Let's see, we have a M right here. And as you see, on the first letter that is the consonant that I'm going to use, just to remind myself not to backtrack, I'll cross it out and I'll put a dot underneath it, as you can see right there. And then I'll go through and cross out the duplicates of that letter. And then I'll go down here and list that. So you got one M there, right? So you list that down there, okay? Then, let's see, because you already crossed out all your vowels, you go to N. So I cross that out there and put a dot up under it, and then I go and cross out N there, N, and so far and so forth. And then you'll see the other, like the T here, I put down there, cross out all the other T's, the H. I do the same thing, mark it, put that down there, the Y, cross that out, okay, put that down there, and so on and so on. I think you get the point, okay? Next, what you want to do at this time is, this is when you're going to start to illustrate or draw out your letters into a symbol, logo, aka a sigil, and start the ritual as far as you drawing out and illustrating your particular design. You ain't got to be perfect. As you can see, my writing is kind of all over the place, but this was done just to illustrate to you how I do this particular version of Sigil MagicK. Okay, you can adapt it and do it a little bit different. The key is putting your own creativity in it. Okay, what we want to do is take each particular letter, right? And what you do is you want to bring that letter, where's my cursor? Okay, you want to bring that letter right there down to the bottom, okay? Or you can even use on a different sheet of paper. Some people do. I just use all the same thing, okay? But anyway, you want to take that M, okay, and draw it. You can even get crazy with it and write like a bubble drawing. I just use basic fundamentals and just like write a regular M. You can even make it a bubbly M, like a McDonald's M if you want to, however you want to do it. But anyway, so you do that with each individual letter, okay? So we got the M down. So I'll write down the M right there, right? Let's go to the next consonant. Okay, then after I write that M down, I'll take it just like I did up here. I'll cross that out, correct? And put that dot on it, okay? To keep me moving and progressing forward, okay? Next thing we're going to do right here is you see the N, okay? Well, all this has to be connected or in the frame of the sigil. Of course, you can use your own creativity, but as you see the N right here, I took that N, and because the M has a way for me to include an N on it, I put that right in here, as you can see. So this is your N right here, okay? All right, let's move it on. Then I cross out that N and go to the next letter, okay? Right here you see a T, okay? I added that as a stem on the M and the N. So I drew a line across right here from the top of the N on the right hand side right here to make that T, okay? We cross out the T and go to the next. Okay, the next letter is a H. So you take that H, and I had the top of the T right there, right? And I already had the line, so what I did was make a sideways H by adding another line right there, okay? You can be creative. You can put it over here. You can put it over there. You can put it on here. Long as it's within the frame of the sigil that you're drawing. And you'll see what I'm saying here in a second. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Okay, now, the next letter up here you see is a Y, right? Because I had the H and the stem from the M, okay? All I needed was to add a V shape to the top to make that a Y, as you can see right there. Up, side, side. There's our Y, okay? Next, I added an S. As you see, I took the S and added it right there, right? All right, let's keep it moving. I think you get the point, so I'm going to speed up a little bit. The next letter is a G. As you can see, the S had kind of a G, and it can be forward, backwards, sideways, however you want to write it. It's your own creativity. So I basically added the drop here to make that G. Okay? All right. Next. Cross out the G because you're continuing. Okay? Next, I made an R. Okay, as you can see on the right hand side here, I made it backwards. So we have the line here from the M, the circle to represent the R, and that line, the downstroke. Okay, that's your R. All right, I have an L here. What I did was I took the bottom part of the M right here on the left hand side and just made a leg on it to make the L. All right, we already have a V. We have a V here and also have a V here. But I'm more focused, per se, on this V down here. And it's upside down, okay? But no big deal. And then you mark out the V. The F, you'll see that right here, okay? We already have an F, so I don't have to rewrite that unless I really want to, okay? It's up to you. And then the C. The R actually formed the C anyway, you see? So the top part of that R is the C. Okay, next. All right, what I like to do is I like to encase my my sigils. You can do it any way you want to. Some people put circles around it. I like using a triangle because it's a sign of the Great Pyramid, and it's a sign of the third eye. Um, and once you invert it forward and upside down backwards, as above, so below. So I just like using the triangle. Sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't. Okay, but anyway, after you finish, let's move on. Okay, hold on. Let me back up. I kind of wrote down here. I forgot about this particular slide. I kind of wrote up here in a way how I use this. You see the M right there representing that M. I kind of drew it out on how I came up with it just to give you an idea. The N, okay, which you see right here. I put it right there so you can see how I added it basically. The T, you see the stem coming up from there, right there, okay. I put the T right there so you can see that. Okay, the H, you'll see sideways right there is going through that T, which is right there. Let's see, the Y, you'll see coming up off of there, okay, which is right here. The S, you'll see I wrote it right here just to show you, okay, and you'll see it right there, right? The G, you'll see it right there, and I wrote it as a stem off the S, okay? The R, you see how I wrote it right there just to show you which direction I put it. You'll see it right there, okay? Then let's see the L. You'll see it right there. I also listed it right there so you'll see I added it as a stem on the M on the left-hand side. The V right here, the upside down V, you'll see it stemming off that R. The F, you'll see it stemming from right there, okay? Up, side, side, okay? That's your F, okay? The C right here, you'll see it right here as the top part of that R, okay? All right, next. All right, and this is just a close-up picture of the sigil, okay? Like I say, some people choose to cut it out, some people don't, okay? All right, next. What I did here is, remember I told you sometimes I like to write it in the Hebrew translation, right? Okay, so what I did was I basically translated it into Hebrew, and then I took those Hebrew, because you know Hebrew originally didn't have any vowels, so I didn't have to worry about that, okay? So that was a good thing. So what I did was I went back and crossed out all the double consonants and listed that first consonant down, okay? And this is according to the Hebrew translation. Okay, where's my cursor? Okay, right here you'll see the H, right? And then I went crossed out all the other H's just like I showed you before. Same principle, okay? The K, same thing, and pulled that down, okay? But this in Hebrew says the same thing. My intent is to attain higher levels of cosmic consciousness. That's what this is saying, okay, right here. But I wrote it this way because of English, but you know Hebrew reads right to left. But anyway, long story short, this is the sigil that I used to make that. And like I showed you before, I showed you how I came up with the H, okay, right there. This is the H, right? Then off of that H, I broke a K to the side, which is like a V coming out the side of the H to form that K, okay? Then the N, okay, as you can see, I have a stem coming off that K right here to form the N. The S, you'll see right there, I had put another backward S right there, okay? The L, you'll see, is a stem off of the H, okay? Right here. All right. The Y, you'll see, excuse me, is to the side. You'll see the line going through here, right there. That's the Y. The G, as you've seen before, I used the S to make the G. Okay. The R, as you see, we got up, down, round. Of course, I flipped it, inverted the R again, flipped it to the mirror side of it, and it's right here. So up, round, that's your R, as you can see right here, okay? The T, you got the T right here, okay? As I wrote it right there for you to see. The B, I flipped the B, and I made it right here. That's the B, and you see I wrote it right there. And the D, of course, you can see it right here, okay? So this is how I did it in Hebrew. It's a little bit more creative than English. Just takes a little bit more time. But if you know the Hebrew language you can kind of, or any other language you might want to use or whatever, you can, do it that particular way, okay? And as you see right here, I forgot to cross the D and the M out, but it's all good. I used what I need to use on it. In fact, I didn't. Hold on, let's see. Did I mess up on that? Oh, I messed up. I forgot the M. But anyway, you get the point. Everything can't be perfect, right? But anyway, you can see in the last example how I did it, so you'll get the point. I could actually add the M. Let's see. How could I put that on here? I guess I could like make a branch right here and add that and make that an M if I needed to, and just list that down there. But anyway, I could put an M right here. So, but you get the point. It's just an example. You put your own creativity in it. Okay. All right. Back on target. Okay. After you finish illustrating your sigil, okay, which would be this thing right here. All right. What you want to do is hold it in your hand or tape it directly in front of you where you're going to be performing this meditation at. You might want to cut it out. You don't have to. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I don't. It's up to you. You visualize this symbol as you go into a deep meditative trance. We already talked about what a meditative trance is, okay? So you go into this deep trance while you are staring, putting all your energy, mental energy into that, okay? And what you want to do is you visualize this sigil. Okay, my cursor right here. You visualize this symbol, aka sigil, okay? In this deep trance, you focus all your thoughts on your wheel of manifesting this, okay? All right, focus your thoughts on your wheel of manifesting this as you embed this sigil into your subconscious mind, okay? So your deepest thoughts, okay? Put all your mental power at this time on it until you feel like you have exhausted your energy into it. And what I like to do is, once I get that symbol, a sigil that I made, in this case it would be this, okay, into my mind, what I do is, after I got it seared into my mind, I close my eyes and I just like put all my mental thought into like a real deep meditation, a trance basically, to where everything is zoned out and you're only focusing on this sigil or the sigil that you create yourself, okay? All right. Again, you want to put all your mental power into it until you feel like you have basically just exhausted all of your mental energy into it, okay? And what I like to do is, after you do that, you come out of your meditation, okay? You take that symbol, a sigil, to a safe place. What I like to do is get like a ceramic bowl, or sometimes I'll do it outside if the wind ain't ain't blowing, excuse me. Sorry. If the wind ain't blowing, I'll take it outside. And if the wind is blowing, sometimes I'll put like a rock or something on it to hold it down to keep it from, blowing and lighting something up. But anyway, but I like to put it like in a ceramic bowl or in a cup, like a ceramic cup, something that won't catch fire, okay? And something that's tall enough to hold it. And what I'll do is I'll take it and burn it. Burn that sigil. And as it's burning, you say it is done. Or like we like to say ashe, power to it. It is done, so be it. And then you take that and discard the ashes. And that ends your ritual.